Welcome to the Divine Renovation Podcast. While the podcast might be on hiatus right now, the Missional Leadership Podcast is just launching, and we'd love for you to check it out. And for now, here's a small sample. If you'd like to listen to the whole episode, you'll have to follow us at Missional Leadership Podcast. Enjoy.
That's when you start to really kind of create a discipling culture, right? Because they see the bigger picture, that the goal of this isn't to just satisfy and check the boxes and fulfill the structure, but you do lay out a structure to help people experience the discipleship, the relationship, the life change that you want them to experience as disciples.
Welcome to Divine Renovation's Missional Leadership Podcast. Here's your host, Tammy LeBlanc.
Hi, Matt. Hi, Rob. Welcome to another session of our podcast.
It's great to be here today. It's good to see both of you guys.
I'm all flanneled up. I'm ready to go.
There you go.
And you're looking very Canadian today, Matt.
I am, eh?
Indeed. And welcome to you, our listeners. We pray that today's conversation will be another step to helping you on your journey towards renewal. So, guys, in my office here, my office space faces a window that overlooks my front street. And I'm finding in the run of a day, I am seeing Amazon trucks going up and down my street quite regularly. Are you guys Amazon shoppers?
We are, yes. And
I hate to admit
it. Well, I should say we as in my family. I shouldn't say we as in me and Matt. I'm not trying to speak for Matt there. So,
well, I think the problem is most of those Amazon trucks pull down my street and stop at my house, which makes me feel a little guilty when I promise it's a need I have, not just a toy. So,
Okay. So, what is the latest thing that you've bought on Amazon?
Well, you're not going to believe this because we did not talk about this ahead of time, just for clarity, right? We did not set this up ahead of time. Sitting here on my desk. You ready? I'm going to show you what I got from Amazon, because what I got from Amazon and what I ordered from Amazon are two different things.
Oh.
It is a spaceship necklace.
Okay.
Spaceman, an astronaut necklace. Sorry.
Okay, so describe it, Matt, for those people that are listening and not watching.
It is a silver chain with a little astronaut hanging on it. And it's not what I ordered. I actually had to order a small end table for my office, and an astronaut necklace showed up instead.
Somebody's playing a prank on you.
I don't have any idea what's going on. That's my job today, is to figure out if another Amazon truck has to come pick that back up and take it away.
Well, I'm just wondering, you should go around and knock on your neighbors' doors, because maybe they just, had the wrong address, and your neighbors right now are really wondering where their necklace is.
It's addressed to me, though. That's the problem.
Okay, so it is right. Okay. Yeah.
How about you, Robert, for saying anything exciting off Amazon lately?
Well, it probably won't surprise too many people, but yeah, recently I just had a book delivered from Amazon, so I know
No.
Anyways, yeah, so.
Yes, Rob is a big reader. Can I ask what this book is that you're going to read?
It is actually on how brain science affects discipleship. And so we're learning all kinds about like how the brain functions now and all that, and like the whole biblical concept of renewing your mind. There's just a ton of new evidence that's coming out that shows the ability for the mind to change. And so a lot of thinkers now in kind of both the theological and brain space or brain science space are, kind of thinking through the implications of what that means for us as disciples of Jesus. And it's fascinating, exciting, and I'll stop there because the podcast today is about something completely different. But anyways, so.
Well, before can I change my answer now that he's made it sound so cool and smart? I mean, we're gonna have a better answer than an astronaut necklace.
Well, I have to say that I thought my answer was kind of lame compared to yours, right? Like so.
As Matt sits up looking very proud, my latest purchase is related to, I don't know, a device, a tool, an appliance, I don't even know what you call it, that has opened up a whole new world to me that I had no idea even existed. But it was a friend, actually a colleague that we work with, that introduced me to this. And it's called a Cricut. Have you guys heard of a Cricut?
Yeah. Yeah. My wife has a Cricut.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Okay, so what I understand it to be is it's a cutting tool, but people use it for the crafting world. And so you can make all kinds of things on this machine by putting different mediums, I guess, into it and cutting out patterns and stuff that you design. So my husband attended a men's conference where the theme was Yeshua. And he came home with this really cool mug that had in big bold letters, Yeshua. And so that was kind of my inspiration for my first craft on this Cricut was to print out, design, I guess, a t-shirt first with, I put in big bold letters, Yeshua across it. And then below it, who was, who is to come. So I've been having kind of fun with that. All to say that my latest purchase was another piece of equipment in this Cricut world because it's so massive and there's so many things to buy and expand what you can do and whatnot. So I'm expecting that package to arrive perhaps today as I look out my window while we're recording.
I'm really changing my answer now. I gave the lamest one of all.
So guys, how are we going to pull this back into our conversation that we're going to have today? I think I'm going to lean into Rob's answer because he mentioned disciples. And so today we're talking about making disciples for a parish that's going from maintenance to mission and starting to look outward. How do we make disciples? What are the areas, I guess, where parishes might not be looking at this right? The commission, of course, for the Catholic Church or for the church in general actually is to go out and make disciples. So what does that look like? How do we do that? Matt, I love the way you phrased it, where the Catholic Church has a lot of beautiful points that need to be connected, meaning we offer a lot of sacraments per se. And a sacrament helps a person in a point or at a particular time to grow in discipleship. But how do we connect the dots between the sacraments? Do you want to help jump in here and frame that discussion a little bit?
Yeah, sure. That's a great way to start, right? And I think that's the good news. So everybody listening, if you're working at, employed at, volunteering at, serving at a Catholic church, you've got a lot of great dots to work with. I mean, speaking of your little Cricut device, right? It's like an aid to help you make better artwork. Well, when my kids started doing art, right, there was like a paint by numbers or a connect the dots, and you never could see the whole picture, right? At first, it just looked like a collection of dots. And I think, here's the bad news, is in the church, that's still what our picture looks like, is like a paint by numbers or a connect the dots that's not filled out. Because, see, a lot of times, we don't see the puzzle picture on the box, right? Like we don't see what the picture's supposed to look like before we start building it.
Okay.
Because we lack a vision. We don't really know where we're going. We just get really busy. We do all the things that we've always done. And all of these things are awesome things, right? They're sacramental grace. They're the sacraments of the church. They're what bring us closer to Jesus. It's like heaven and earth colliding at these dots. So the dots are a big deal. But I don't think we know yet how to connect them. So everything is still this like paint by numbers picture, and we can't see the picture. And I think maybe a starting point for looking at discipleship is just, again, how many times do we talk about this in coaching? Like, what's your vision? What's your vision for the future? Paint me that picture of where you want to go, where you want to take people, why you exist. Because then you can start to say, okay, if that's where we're going, if the puzzle has the picture on the box, that's what we want to build. We start one dot or one puzzle piece at a time, and you start connecting them, right? And in an intentional way that helps form disciples. Because until then, I think our church is just playing sacramental hopscotch. I don't know, is hopscotch a game they play in Canada?
It totally is. Yep.
Maybe not anymore, right? Kids probably
you might have
play
to,
that on their phone.
the 30 and under might have to Google that. But anyways,
That's good homework. Google hopscotch. Because what we do, right, is like somebody comes to us and says, hey, we want to have our kid baptized. And really the only question we ask is, well, were you baptized? Are you a member of this church? And we hand them the sheet that tells them the guidelines and the meeting times. So they go through the motion. We get their kids baptized. Then we don't see them again for about 7 years because that's around the time they do Eucharist and reconciliation preparation often together. And then after that, they go and they come back sometime in their teen years when they want to be confirmed, also known as Catholic graduation. And then they go off to college, and that's like the black box, right? Like, is faith going to be practiced or explored or left behind? And for those that pick it up in some way, even in a nominal way, they come home and say, well, I want to get married, and you're supposed to get married in the Catholic Church. So here's my next jump in the hopscotch game. I'm going to go to the church. I'm going to ask what the requirements are. I'm going to get the schedule. We're going to set a date. We're going to get married. And then here's where the system all ties back together. They've got a kid that they want to get baptized, and they remember, hey, my mom and dad baptized me when I was a baby. We should probably baptize our kid. Now, I'm not making light of the sacraments. I'm telling you, these are the points to start connecting and to build around, because the picture is still in there somewhere. And I think maybe that's where we could talk today about how we do that.
This has been a sample of the Divine Renovation Missional Leadership Podcast. If you like what you're hearing, follow us at the Missional Leadership Podcast. And thanks for listening.